other way illegally. Is that justifiable?
What I'm trying to get across is if we make it illegal, the problem just makes it 1,000 times worse, because not only will you kill a life, you will threaten the life of a mother that way in an unsanitized condition.
Yeah, but less people will actually
Well,
be able to
actually,
go.
actually, actually, I think it's very interesting. And I have this in a book. So, the president of Planned Parenthood back in 1960, and I forget her name, but I'm gonna get the source. She actually said that illegal abortions that occurred back in 1960. So, this is prior Roe versus Wade. She actually said that um, illegal abortions are safer for women just as much as legal abortions. That illegal abortions are mostly performed by doctors already, and there's not really much of a life-threatening risk to the mother. I mean, of course, there's a life-threatening risk to the child, but if we're talking about the mother, it's virtually just as safe as a legal abortion. And I'm gonna get the source for that, but go ahead.
Oh, well, read
What are your
it.
thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that, I haven't heard that before, but I have looked at many other sources about the issue, if we make it illegal or not, or what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's proven that in places such as Pakistan, Brunei, Indonesia, where it is illegal and high regulations on it, that abortions happen 2 to 3 times more than in the U.S.
Would you? Are you a
The only way.
are you a utilitarian? Like, let's say that legalizing murder in general, not just abortion, which is murder. Uh, let's say that. Would you say that if legalizing murder would it would be to the benefit of the majority of people that we should legalize it?
No, legalizing murder wouldn't help anything.
Okay, no, no, wait. But I'm telling you that what if it were the case that it would benefit the majority of people if murder were illegal? What if that were the case? Should murder be legalized?
Why would murder benefit people?
No, that doesn't matter because this is a thought experiment.
Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically, murder, legalizing murder, just in general, would benefit the majority of people. If that were the case, would you be in favor of legalizing murder in general?
Mm,
It's a yes or no question. Either
no,
you're
no.
okay. Oh, so no. So why would? So let's say hypothetically. So if your answer is no, did you just say no?
I said no.
Okay. If the answer is no, let's hypothetically assume that abortion is murder. Since you just said that murder should not be legalized in order to benefit the majority of people, you must therefore, if abortion is murder, be against abortion if it is murder. Would you agree with that logic?
Right, but a murder doesn't benefit people.
Right, but that's not the question. You're saying that if we legalize abortion, that it will be to the benefit of people, it will be the most benefit to society. You just told me that you wouldn't be in favor of legalizing murder, even if it were to the benefit of society. So, but you're okay with legalizing abortion. If abortion is murder, I don't know if you think abortion is murder or not, but if abortion is murder, by your own morality, which you just professed, you should be against it if it is murder.
Hmm. I just see that in other countries where it is illegal or highly regulated, abortion rates just go up, and the chances of women having physical abnormalities down there, or mental health issues and problems,
So would you
physical
say,
issues.
because of all those factors, that this is a reason why murder should be made legal, because it would be to the benefit of society as a whole?
That's irrelevant because
No, it's not. It's about what is right. This is not about what. See, this is not what about this. The question here is not about whether, and this I touched on this earlier. The question is not about whether or not something is beneficial to society or beneficial to women the most. The question here is not that. The question is what is true and what is false, what is good and moral versus what is evil and wrong. So, if basically what you're saying is if because of the health issues, because of the how it will it will cause more problems and stuff like this, that it would be to the benefit of society if in this case if murder were illegal in the case of unborn children. You're contradicting yourself from what you earlier said when you said that, hey, I'm okay with I'm not okay with murder even if it benefits society. So are you or are you not okay with murder if it benefits society? That's the core question.
No.
But if you're not, then you must be against abortion if it is murder, even if it would benefit society to be legal.
Sorry, you cut it out a little bit. What was that?
Since the answer is no, you wouldn't be okay with murder, even if it benefits society, then if abortion is murder, you must be against it, even if that would benefit society for it to be legal. No way around that issue. That is the crux of the issue.
Okay, so then if we do illegalize abortion, let's just say for a moment, what do you think would happen?
Then
you think abortion
is zero? I think that abortion would be illegal, and that finally, murder in general would be made illegal. You should not be allowed to murder anybody. Now, it doesn't matter whether it is you believe that it would be whether it would be beneficial to the majority of people or not for murder to be illegal. Murder should be illegal because it is morally wrong. It is evil. Now, do I think that abortion would there being more backstreet abortions or not? That depends on various factors. For example, if there is a poor economy, then that will certainly lead to certain behavior. If it is very difficult to have children, that will contribute. If there is a very poor orphanage and foster care system, that will contribute. All of these different factors contribute to what will happen if abortion is made illegal. All the different laws factor in, but that's not the question here. The question is abortion murder? If it is murder, are you okay with murder if it benefits the rest of society? If the answer is no, then you cannot be for abortion. Now, it is my belief that you can make it so that even with abortion being illegal, things can be okay with a society, with a civilization that supports people. Because people will point out the hypocrisy of Republicans, for example, and I do as well, who say, hey, we want to illegalize abortion, but we actually don't want to take care of the child or the mother if they're in trouble or something like that. No, this is wrong. This is morally reprehensible. And so we can see that abortion is also a symptom of a greater disease within the civilization itself, of apathy and of uncaringness. All of these reasons for why abortion will, backstreet abortions will happen, stuff like that, don't address the actual problem in of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even being pro-choice, I would guess, because you seem like a sensible guy, you probably don't celebrate abortion. You probably don't go around celebrating, oh yeah, get abortions if you feel like it. You probably think it's a serious issue, regardless. So,
right.
In an ideal society, there wouldn't be any need for there to be an abortion, would there?
Right. I believe that abortion should be reduced to the least amount as possible.
Yeah. So, if you believe that, then you would certainly say that if abortion is made legal and then people are getting tons of abortions, that's a problem in of itself. So there's clearly an underlying problem with the society and the morals of the people, and with perhaps the governments and the regulations and laws. But that's not the question. The question you asked is abortion okay or not? Is murder okay or not? And now we can move on from that if you want. I would just ask you: do you think abortion is murder at all? Because that's an important thing. Do you think it is actually killing a life?
To some extent. I mean,
Hmm.
hear me out. Hear me out. I mean, I'm not trying to change your opinion on anything.
No, no, no.
I don't believe that at conception, this it can feel, it can do everything we do. It has a consciousness. At around, when the fetus does start looking like a human, in the early first trimester, I think it should be, it is considered a life. Because, a bunch of cells, even if it's like 20 cells, it doesn't feel, it doesn't have consciousness. While it does have the potential to become life, won't feel any different than being, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be able to tell if it was inside the womb or outside the womb. It doesn't have any form of consciousness
No,
yet.
that's not true though. You see,
So,
well, look, you probably are defining consciousness as a physical thing. It's not. But also, I've seen people. I don't have it, but uh, there are certainly study. There have been proofs, and I can't provide them, so you don't have to consider them proofs now. Where it has been shown that unborn babies at very early stages feel pain.
Hmm.
And what is consciousness? So consciousness is, we talked about consciousness when we talked about the Trinity. There's the mind. Now, the mind is not the brain. The mind is a metaphysical thing. It is not a physical thing. It is because when you see your thought, you don't see it in your physical brain. You see it in the mind. It's purely non-physical. It's purely metaphysical. So how can you say with certainty, if that being the case, that the unborn child has no consciousness if consciousness is metaphysical?
I'm talking about
The mind obviously doesn't have a developed brain.
between when the sperm fertilizes the egg to when it starts to look like a person eating the
And the
earth,
question is, when does this human soul enter into the fetus? When does the unborn child receive the soul or the consciousness? Because remember, the mind is not the brain. So where is it? If you are not able to say with certainty that it is just a clump of cells like a plant, like the same thing as a tree, then you are taking a very heavy risk and saying it's okay to kill that. You are taking a heavy risk, because if it is the case that that is a person with a consciousness, then you are killing someone. Not just an idea of a clump of cells that is like a larvae or something like that. That's maybe what you're thinking of it as. In that case, if it has an actual consciousness, which is like an actual mind, like a consciousness, a subconsciousness, a spirit, then you're killing someone. Not a larvae, not a some flesh. You're killing a person. That's the crux. If that is the case, then it is murder. Straight up.
I did not say as in a full developed fetus. I mean in the first few weeks before it starts to grow and develop like a normal fetus would look like.
About the first day. What if it's the first day that the consciousness is embedded in the conception? What if that were the case?
You mean starting at conception?
Yes. Let's say that at the moment of conception, the consciousness of a human soul is installed in the fetus. If that is the case, no, this is just a hypothetical. What if that were the case? Is that a person or not?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's if you're saying like the consciousness of a newborn baby, then yeah, that would be a person.
Like your consciousness. You have a consciousness right now. The same level of consciousness, the same consciousness. So let's define consciousness. I'm talking about the mind, like actually having a mind, actually having a soul, actually having all of the potential. Think, and this is not a physical. So this unborn child has all of the same uh, things you do of the mind. All that it has a mind just like you from the conception. If that is the case, is that not a person?
It can. That is a person.
Then it would be murder to kill it.
Right, but this is a hypothetical, not real life. We don't.
Sure.
Exactly,
So
we don't know exactly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you know exactly that it is a life or something. We don't. I don't know.
since you don't know, you're taking a hell of a risk by saying it's okay to kill this thing. Since you do not know whether it is okay or not.
Right, yeah. So if you don't know, you wouldn't take the chance and say, okay, let's do this anyway. I mean, I don't know if it's a human. I mean, it's kind of like if you're going hunting and you see something in the woods, but you're not sure if it's a deer, but you shoot it anyway. I mean, that's a hell of a risk, like he's saying. You know, you don't
It would
know.
also be a risk if scientists knew that it wasn't a life and we put hundreds of women at risk and in danger.
Okay, well, you can. Okay, tell me when scientists can fully explain how consciousness works. Then you can say with 100% certainty that it is not a life. So here's the investigation you need to take. You need to be sure that it is not alive. If you can be sure about that, then you can do that. If you cannot, then you cannot say that you can kill it. Your investigation, therefore, should be: is it alive? Does it have a consciousness? Is this a person I would be killing? You don't know. You cannot act on you cannot act on an uncertainty, especially when it pertains to murder.
Okay.
You see, we are being logical here. I hope you can see that.
Right. I would like to stay logical and professional whenever we talk about it.
I agree.
Yeah, but I think regardless of whether or not we can say that, oh, this fetus can feel pain, oh, this fetus has sentience. I think you know you I think utilities of a person don't distinguish whether it's a person, because someone in a coma who does not have consciousness at all is still a human being. But I think,
well, they have consciousness. They just can't move.
right. Yeah. Well, and also I would just say that the science of embryology is virtually unanimous that human life begins at the moment of conception. So, yeah, that embryo, I mean, it looks like a cell, but it is by scientific fact a human being. Therefore, we would be wrong to try and kill that human being from the moment of un, unjustly killed that human being, because it's an innocent human being too, right? It's not in the womb through any fault of its own. We would be wrong to intentionally kill that innocent human being.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah. So it's interesting to get into the weeds of, oh, can this feel pain or not? How developed is this? I mean, we can get into that. I just think it's irrelevant. If from the moment it began to exist, from that moment, if we can say that yes, it is a human being, then case closed. We can't unjustly discriminate against it.
Right. All right. Well, whatever women decide to choose is their choice. whatever, if it does become like a voting process, like for the whole U.S., do you want this to happen or not, women? And it's whatever they choose.
Abortion should be illegal. It's murder.
Well,
That's okay if you have an
why would
opinion.
we?
It's 100%.
Right. Yeah. So we can agree that women have the right to control whatever they want to do with their bodies, but how does that right to do what you want with your own body extend to what you can do to harm another innocent person? That just
Hmm.
seems like a big jump to me, and I don't find that convincing at all.
Someone told me one time, if the government said forced you to give up your kidney to somebody, because it's a life, would
Mhm.
you do it? I mean, you're forced to. How would you feel about that?
Right. Yeah. I don't. And how I would answer that is I don't have the same obligations to another person as I do to my own child. So if I reject giving my kidney to someone, I'm not killing them. I'm just not being in the process of trying to save their life. That's not the same thing as murder.
Also, you're not killing someone if you now. I would if I could save someone by giving up my kidney, I would.
Right. I would
But
too, but I'm not killing them. I'm not committing murder.
I'm not killing someone if I don't give up my kidney. Now, if let's say that someone's not willing to give up their kidney, but they're willing to try and do every other thing possible to try and save their life, they are not killing that person at all. They're not killing that person.
They're
They're
just merely failing
that's
to
not,
save them.
No, but in the hypothetical
not a
situation,
murder.
there's no other way.
What do you
Just you
mean?
have to give up your kidney. You're the only person who
Yeah,
cares.
but in that case, they're still not responsible for killing the person.
But it's a life, and you should give up your kidney for it.
Should. I mean, like I said, I don't have the same obligations to just some person as I do to my own child, right? So
I mean, you'd
I don't
also
think
have
that's a
the
fair
obligation
comparison for that reason.
You're starting to get into
give
like
up
some. We're starting to get into some word game arguments. Let's say, what if I only have one kidney? If I give my kidney, I die.
exactly. That's
Sacrifice
a
myself,
lot
but
of.
still wouldn't be. But like in both cases, I wouldn't actually be killing him. I would just be not saving him.
Right. Right. You don't have the obligation to be heroic in every sense.
It'd be the same way with abortion.
But you
Women,
can't murder someone.
the full development, it could kill the woman. I mean, in some situations, not all, but some.
Well,
We're
no.
not talking about that. We're talking about see if you actually kill a unborn child, you are actively killing it. You're not saving anyone, and you're not failing to save someone. You're just killing someone.
Right, right. You would be intentionally killing someone. That's different from merely failing to save them. That's very different. And
Very
and
interesting.
because of that, that's not a good comparison. And and I mean, I would give my kidney to someone, but if I choose not to, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah, murdering someone if you fail to give your kidney to someone, or if you choose not to.
Interesting. Were there any other questions for me?
No, I was just chilling.
Oh, any other topics?
Hey,